Okay. Oh, wait. We're getting there. We got all kinds of backup happening.
Yeah, it's a vapor.
Yeah.
Keep coming back. Keep coming back.
Okay. I have asked James, well, I actually didn't ask James S., but Angela told me to ask James S. from Fairmont to introduce our speaker.
I'm an addict named James, and I'm introducing Chris tonight, and Chris has been my sponsor probably for like 4 years, and I asked him right outside here one night after a speaker meeting to be my sponsor, and I can remember it was Sunday night, and I ended up calling a friend in recovery, and I was scared to death. I was like, man, I'm really going to have to do something now, man. This guy's serious. I'm going to have to change. This is going to be, I was scared for a second, and I always saw Chris sharing meetings and stuff, and it was life and death. This stuff was serious, and I was real blessed to get with a lot of guys that sponsorship and step work was real cool too, man. And they made it appealing to me, and made Narcotics Anonymous appealing, man. And I wanted to be a part of that. Today our relationship is awesome, man. We have such a good time, cut up everywhere, and. But when it comes to step work and stuff, man, it's serious, and it's a true honor to be up here, even doing this for him, man. And it's a true friend I have in my life today, man, and I'm forever grateful, for everything he's done and every time he had to answer the phone when I called. So I'll give you guys Chris.
That's right. I'm an addict named Chris. Man, I'd just do that all night long. That was pretty cool, man. Before I share anything else, man, I just want to share, I was driving down here Friday, man. It was an absolutely beautiful day outside. I had the windows down in my Jeep. Had the phone on random, listening to some music, man, and Stevie Ray Vaughan's Life by the Drop came on, if anybody's heard that song before. And, dude, there's been a couple times in my life I've been absolutely overcome with joy to the point of where tears roll down my face. I'm not a big emotional guy, most people that know me, man. But I started thinking about where I'd come from, man, an active addiction and that utter desperation and fucking soul-shattering loneliness, man, as I'm driving down the road to speak at an NA convention in Ripley, West Virginia. So I did just tears, snot. I'm dude, you gotta pull it fucking together, man. But that was one of the few times in my life where that gratitude and that joy came out physically, man, and it came out in tears, man. The other times when I got married and the other times when my son was born. Actually, probably not my son, man, because that was a whole bunch of gratitude and joy and fear. Because I remember walking out of the hospital with my wife. She read the 12 Traditions. She's right there. I just want to embarrass her. But I remember walking out of the hospital with my son, man, and it's a little fucking human being I got to take care of and shit, dude. And I'm I can't even keep plants alive. My dog's eating all the fucking garbage over here, man. And we got to the end of the hallway, and I looked that way, and I was somebody's going to stop me, right? They're going to be we know you, dude. You can't take care of a baby, dude. But they let me live or go, and he's still alive, so we're good, man. Yeah. Except for James, man. But my clean date is December 25th of 2004, Christmas Day of that year, man. And you guys were clapping for yourselves because it was a we thing, man. I didn't do that alone because I've tried to do this shit alone for a long time, man. And I found my home in Narcotics Anonymous. I have a home group. We meet on Sunday nights at 7. It's a Never Alone, Never Again group of Narcotics Anonymous. We do a step and tradition out of the basic text, and then it works how and why. I don't miss my home group, rarely ever. I go to meetings on a regular basis. I have a sponsor. I just talked to him about step work today, man. What was real cool, man, is so this morning, Don, I think he's probably down the other building, we did his 5th step, man. Then another sponsor, he was doing the 1st step with me, man. And that's what this shit is about, man. It's about step work and it's about action. Because I'm a real good talker. I'm a hell of a fucking con. I've been a con since I was a child, man. Ever since I was little, man, like I can remember like just feeling different on the inside, man. There was something fucking missing. I wanted to be you, or I wanted your shit, or I wanted to feel different. I didn't like how I felt on the inside ever. And I'm talking like since a little tyke, man. And I was an addict then, man. I know there's always like the big debate in NA is like, was I born an addict? Did I become one? It just doesn't fucking matter. I'm a fucking addict, man, to the bone. I'm the addict they talk about in the basic text. And I will die without this program, man. And I've seen other people go back out and they die. They go to jails, institutions, and death. And it's fucking sad, man. But I found a new way of life in these rooms, man. And you guys showed me. You made me a promise, man, that I could lose the desire to use and find a new way to live. And that shit is real, and it happened to me. And that's why I'm standing here. But just like to touch real fast on how it was, man, like I don't want to sit here and tell everybody like the massive amounts of dope I did and all the names and shit like that. Like I'm not about that today, man. We all know what pain and suffering is. We all know what misery active addiction was, man. But I started getting high when I was 13. I vividly remember the first time I got high, my brain stopped working, and I love that shit. The thoughts that go a billion miles an hour, man, that shit was done, man. And I was like, I found something, and I love this shit, man. And like I didn't start out like just doing a little bit. I'm a fucking addict, and I jumped in the deep end of the fucking pool, man. I found my drug of choice at the age of 14. And what's kind of funny, man, is like when I first came to Narcotics Anonymous, I'd listen to people talk about their drugs of choice, man, and like they would say like this is theirs, and I'd be like, well, dude, you're like a terrible fucking addict because that shit isn't hard at all. And I'd be like, this is how you really need to do dope, and this is the best way you do dope, and this is the best way to save money because it's better. But like what I've learned in Narcotics Anonymous is pain, and a drug is a drug, man. And it doesn't matter if it's something that grows in the earth or a doctor prescribes it or I buy it off the dude in the corner, man. It's fucking dope, and it's going to kill me. It's going to take me to the same bitter ends that any of the others will, man. I grew up in a pretty normal household, man. My parents were like some hardcore hippies back in the 70s, man. They made these homemade clothes for me, had long fucking hair and shit, man. And so like the first time, and I remember this vividly, second grade, I got in a fist fight because a little kid called me a girl, which would be like a theme for the rest of my fucking life, and that's violence. I'm a guy that either runs or I fight, and I like to fight better. And that's not the guy I am today, man, which is real cool, and it's because of this program. I'm not that guy, man. At the age of 15, I ran away from home to follow a band around called the Grateful Dead. A lot of people don't know who they are anymore, but that's sad. My wife and I play a game in my Jeep, man. I got Sirius Radio, and it's a Grateful Dead station. So, like, I can name every song within, like, a year, plus or minus, dude. I have issues, but whatever. But I went to my first Grateful Dead show, man, and like, when I walked in, I felt like I was fucking home. Because they had my drug of choice there. And everybody just loved me unconditionally. And everybody was super nice, man. And, like, in the beginning, man, that shit was fun, man. Like, I'd go from one city to another city, and we'd go up and down the West Coast and through the Midwest and up and down the East Coast. And I just did whatever I wanted as a 15-year-old kid, not thinking at the time I have a mother and a father back home who are worried to death because I haven't talked to them in like 4 or 5 years. The only time they got phone calls, man, was like when I was in fucking jail. The cops came and got me. Or if I, went to a hospital or some shit. And those are like one of those amends I make, a living amends I make today through that 9th step, man, because they were in my 8th step and I wrote them down, and in my living amends in the 9th, man, like, so, like when my mom needs her garbage taken out, I go over and fucking do it. Because they put up with a lot of shit from me, man. When my dad asks me for help for something, I go over and help him. That's part of being a responsible member of society and my family today, man. But, pretty much with active addiction, man, I mean, I can sit here and tell you a whole bunch of shit, man. Just overdose, jails, been arrested so many fucking times, it's ridiculous, man. I don't know how many detoxes and rehabs I've been in, man, but like I do remember, like, my parents, like, one time, man, I got arrested and they sent me back to the West Coast. I grew up in West Virginia and I grew up in California. We moved a whole bunch when I was a child, man, but they sent me to a counselor, man, because they thought I had a real bad drug problem. Because I guess normal 14-year-olds don't shoot dope, but whatever. And I'd conned this counselor in, man, to thinking that my mom and dad were the fucking problem. That I was just going through a phase, and if they just let me go through it, like, I would be okay, man. And like, I use that shit. So like earlier when I said I've been a con since I was a little kid, I'm a fucking con, man. And I have to catch myself today, man, because I still want to manipulate people, whether it be at work or my family or my friends, or wherever, man. Like, I want my will to be done. And that shit gets me in fucking trouble today, man. It causes unmanageability at the end of that first step, man. And it causes chaos, man. And it cuts me off from the spiritual part of this program. And I forget about that shit sometimes, man, because, like, I'm real good at, like, ragging on people, man, and putting them down and that kind of shit. And I can make it sound real funny and make all of you laugh while I put James down. And it'll be fucking hilarious, I guarantee you. But the thing is, man, is like, see, what I'm really doing, man, is I'm putting another human being down to make myself feel better, because I still have that hole inside of me. And the spiritual part of this program is what fits inside of that, man. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm going to do the shit tomorrow, probably. But I'm a work in progress, man. And that's like, I know we always like to say, I'm a work in progress and that stuff, but like, I've hidden behind that shield for quite a few fucking years in this program too, by the way. It's about change today, man, and that comes through the steps, man. But anyway, man, like, so back to that whole deal, man. Followed the dead around, did massive amounts of dope. It was fucking terrible. I've eaten out of fucking dumpsters, slept in fucking ditches, man. Lived in homeless shelters. I went to my first, like, fucking a whole bunch of rehabs before then. But like, when I actually was introduced to the program of Narcotics Anonymous, man, was a rehab in West Virginia in Preston County, man. And I went because I was court ordered. I didn't go because I wanted to go. And anyway, there was a counselor up there, and her name's Krista. Some of you know her, man. And like, I was just a dirty fucking hippie, man. And like, after about 5 days, Krista had to sit down and tell me that, like, I had to go take a shower and bathe. Because I didn't know that's what people did, man. You know what I mean? I just didn't bathe for months at a fucking time, man, because I do dope, man. And like, that's like kind of funny, but it's also kind of fucking disgusting, man. Like, I was at the animal fucking level of living, man. Like, I didn't care about bathing. But I was introduced to the program of Narcotics Anonymous through there, man. But like, didn't want to stay clean, man. Kept just lying to everybody, that kind of shit, man. And like, one of the things I want to at least say, man, is like, during that time too, man, like, my father was real proud that, like, I had gotten clean. And this is a family disease, man, and like, they didn't know anything about that, man. So like, at 30 days clean, my dad wanted to celebrate by drinking some wine with me, because it's not heroin, right? So I was like, well, sure, man, I could drink some wine. We come from a big Italian family. We drink it at different dinners and shit, man. And like, my father had no intention of like me going out and shooting dope. He just didn't know, man. So as soon as that happened, I'm back off to the races, man. But So the next time I go to rehab, man, I meet this lady, because that happens in rehab all the time, right? And I leave with her, AMA, and then I fucking marry her. So like, it's like a slew of great decisions happening right now, man. And I'll tell you how that relationship ended, man. That relationship ended with her sitting over top of me with a rig full of fucking dope trying to kill me for insurance money. And she's dead now. She overdosed and died. She was like the female equivalent of me using dope, man. We were very dangerous together. So like, when they tell you, I know there's like a lot of sponsorship families, man, that tell you not to get in a relationship for a year. I just know what the basic text tells me. And that tells me that relationships can be terribly painful at first. It doesn't say they may like be uncomfortable. It says it may be terribly painful. So what the fuck, what's the word terribly mean? That's like a lot of fucking pain, man. But I never like to read that part. So like, fast forward another 2 years, and since like, I don't learn real easy, man, I go to rehab again. I meet another lady, leave AMA with her, and we end up getting married too, man. And actually, let me go back to the first wife, man, because this is kind of important. Like, we stayed clean after we got out of rehab, man, and she ended up relapsing. And my first sponsor, Mike H., kept telling me that I could not stay clean living with a using addict. And I kept telling him, obviously, he doesn't know who the fuck I am, man, because I'm not leaving my wife. And that I loved her, blah, 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 all that other shit, man. Everybody in the program told me that I couldn't do what I was trying to do, and I wouldn't fucking listen, man. So I had a little over a year clean, man, and I came home and she was passed out on the floor with a bunch of rigs and shit all over the floor, and I was like, fuck it, dude, I've been doing this for a year, and it's been goddamn hard, and I just want to get high and make it all go away. And I did. But anyway, up to the next wife, man. So I stayed clean with her, man, we got out of rehab and we got clean. I had this genius idea that I was going to go become an underwater welder, man. So I go to school to do that, dude. And listen, let me tell you something. I was put on the face of this earth to do that fucking job, man. I was born to do that job. I can't stay fucking clean doing that job. Like, I tried to stay fucking clean. But imagine working with a room full of people just like this on a ship that all get fucking high. Like, I couldn't do it, man. You know what I mean? I had a little over almost 4 years clean when I was in Jacksonville doing this, man. And so I go out of town, man, and my sponsor's like, you need to go to meetings, all the shit people tell you to do, man. And I was doing it, man. Like, I went to a meeting, but like, here's what was weird. Like, and I've been to meetings all over the country, man. I just used this shit as an excuse when I got there, man. But it was different. Like, they did the clean time at a different time. They read some different readings in a different order. And like, dude was calling on people to talk and shit. And I was like, well, this isn't fucking NA, dude. I'm not coming back to this, man. I'm only going to be down here a few more months and I'll be okay, man. So down below me lived the dope dealer, and we lived down in the hood. And I went down there, and I was clean, man, right? I just fucking got off home with my sponsor, man. I was going to play some Xbox with him. By the end of the night, I had a needle back in my arm, man, with a little less than 4 years clean. And like, to this day, man, I don't know how I made it back to this fellowship after that, man. I came back, and I remember sitting in my first meeting, man, just crying like a fucking child, man. And I was so fucking happy to be home, man, because you guys have always fucking hugged me and always loved me until I could love myself, man. And like, one thing I want to say, man, like with the very first Narcotics Anonymous meeting I've ever been to, man, there were some people at it. It was Steve, Nancy, Eddie, and Jack. And anybody from Fairmont might know them. Jack died of this disease. Eddie died clean. Steve and Nancy are still here, but they're not participating in our fellowship at the time. But I used to go to those meetings, man, and I was a young fucking punk, man, and I'd go high as fucking hell, man, and they knew it. But every meeting I went to, they hugged me and told me to keep coming back and told me that they fucking loved me, man. They gave me their number and said, please call me. And then, so like, let's fast forward to today, like when somebody high comes to a fucking meeting and we're all talking about them and texting our fucking buddies, man, and we're all standing out in our little fucking groups of people, and that's the suffering fucking addict we're here for, man. So Steve and Nancy and Eddie and Jack and all those people, man, like, I remember that vividly to this fucking day, and I was a 16-year-old kid at that time, or 15, man. Every meeting they just told me, just please, no matter what, Chris, keep fucking coming back, man. I didn't stay clean then, but the seed of Narcotics Anonymous was planted in me that day, man. So, man, reach out to that fucking newcomer when you see him, man. And guess what? High people come to our meetings. They're in the right place, right? It just kind of like really irks me, man, that like we do that shit sometimes, man. Because this shit's life and death, man. It really fucking is, man. We're all lucky to be here tonight. So when I got clean, man, I'd come back, and what was real cool is like a bunch of people in Narcotics Anonymous got together and put money together to get a Greyhound bus ticket, man, for me to come back from Jacksonville, Florida to West Virginia. As soon as I got that fucking ticket, I tried to cash it in for fucking dope. They made it non-refundable. Or I probably wouldn't be standing here, man. And I went to detox, man, and what was real cool is like, they brought an H&I meeting in there, man, and Mandy and this other lady came in. I remember when they walked into that hospital, man, like, once again, man, just tears fucking streaming down my face, man, because I knew them. I knew them from fucking Narcotics Anonymous, and I knew there was fucking hope, man. And like that is like one of the things I will always fucking remember in my life is H&I, dude. And like, I do service work today because of that. I do H&I because of that, man. I'm the chairperson for Willie Mays. Bob Mays is the name of the place. But it's a rehab in our town, man. And like, listen, man, like H&I is like one of those things, man, like every time I'm at area, man, or I'm like, hey, I need some help, like on a whatever day, like, yeah, man, yeah, I'll do H&I, man. Nobody ever fucking wants to do it. It sounds good when we're around our friends. And it sounds real cool, and we sound real fucking selfless when we want to do it. Well, we have to do it, man. Those addicts need that fucking message, man. And I've never left that fucking rehab, man, not fucking walking this high off the fucking ground, man. Because, like, dude, like people that don't know about Narcotics Anonymous, man. Like, one guy was asking if his wife could sponsor him. I was like, well, probably not, man. You know? But they need to know about our program, and that's how we get the message in those places, man. So like somebody asks you to do H&I or any service work, just fucking do it, man. I chair meetings, man. I'm the chair at our area. I've held every fucking position, man. You guys have given me everything I have, so I have to give back, man. And whether that's just like taking a service position or answering the phone. Like my phone has that little ignore button on the side. It's the worst thing. I wish I could take it off because people will call me and I'll hit the ignore button, man. And I can gauge my spirituality and my program by how many times I hit that fucking thing. Because there's some days I just don't want to talk to people, man. And it's the days that I really fucking needed to answer it, man. Because I get wrapped up in this program sometimes, man, and think that like, I need to help everybody, and I forget, like, when sponsees call me, that shit's a two-way street, man. They're fucking keeping me clean, too, man. I can't tell you how many times somebody has called me or texted me and probably saved my fucking life, man. Or at least saved my job that day, too, man. But like, speaking of, like, my job and stuff, man, like, the traditions are up here. I'm a tradition Nazi, by the way. Through the traditions, man, I've learned how to deal with other people in the world too, not just you guys, man. And like one of those real cool things is like that first tradition that talks about that unity. I take that shit for fucking granted, man. And when I'm talking shit about other people in the program, I'm not practicing that first tradition, man. Not that I don't ever do it, because trust me, dude, I'm a super flawed fucking human being, man. If you ever want to talk about making mistakes in recovery, catch me after the meeting, man. I've made a fucking slew of them, man. I've quit Narcotics Anonymous about 3 times. I've sat in a Narcotics Anonymous meeting and threatened to fight everybody in it, man. And I'll tell you why. Because I was living the exact opposite of what this program teaches me, man. I was trying to be this guy standing up here now, and I was this shady motherfucker over here doing shit and lying about it. And it all caught up with me. And, like, I take fear and I turn it into anger, and I take that anger and I turn it into violence, man. And, like, I got called out on it, dude, and there was nowhere to run. It's like, fuck, what do I do now? Well, I'm going to fight everybody, man. And I'm quitting NA too, and I text all my sponsors like I'm done, find another sponsor, blah, blah, blah. And what was kind of cool is like one sponsee, Josh, he's sitting outside, said, no, you can't fire me. Not going to happen, man. And like that meant the world to me, man. That was really fucking super cool. But I've done that a few times, man, where I've got like, and it's never like anything that happens, it's all about me, man, because like, I live the way I'm not supposed to, and you guys call me out on it, and I want to run like a little fucking child, man. Matt up here has tried to talk me into staying a couple times, man, and even use that first tradition to try to buffalo me into staying, man, which I was real cool. I was like, he actually reads the traditions, man. But like, so I just want to mention that sevens tradition too while I'm up here, man. Like, I take that for granted quite a bit. When the basket's going around, man, like that's how all this shit gets paid for, man. You know, like I smoke. I drink some really nice coffee. I see some people walking around with some $5 energy drinks. Like we can throw $1 in the fucking basket, man, to keep NA going, man. You know what I mean? I could come up with tons of money in active addiction with no fucking job, and I was homeless, man, but I can't throw $1 in the basket in a meeting, man. But like, here's the cool part about that tradition. Like, I live that in my life today, too. Like, I'm fully self-supporting today, man. Like, I have a job. I'm a fucking productive member of society, man. When I first got clean, man, I worked for my sponsor at an electrical contracting company, man, and like, I just want to share this because I'm still a sick addict, man. Like, he paid me X amount of dollars an hour, man, and I thought I should be paid fucking more, so I stole tools from him. I'm not just talking like a drill. Like, I stole pallets of fucking shit from this place, man. And he was my sponsor, and he believed in me and gave me a job. And then I had to write a 4-step out, and I had to share the fucking 5th step with him, man. That shit was in there, dude. Yeah. So I had to take it all back, man. I was a little salty about that, but whatever. But the point of that too, man, is like people believed in me in this fellowship no matter fucking what, man. Like I was a fucking asshole punk when I got here. I didn't know how to fucking act, man. I didn't know how to talk to other human beings, man. I didn't know how to have conversations, man, because the only thing I've done for decades is fucking dope, man, and travel around. But you guys, like, you hung out with me, man, and you talked to me in the circle after the fucking meeting, man. You remembered my name. By the way, it was one of the coolest fucking things ever, man. Somebody said, oh, hey, Chris, how you doing? I was like, fuck, dude, they remember my name. Nobody's done that in like 20 years, man. Nobody wanted me around this fucking place, man. You guys welcomed me back and you hugged me every fucking time, man. So try to remember somebody's name, man. It might save their life. It saved mine. So the wife in the second rehab, man, back to her. I ended up divorcing her, man. I got married, man, for the same reasons like everyone in this audience probably thought, dude, because I had a void inside and I wanted to fucking shove it full of some shit. And I like to put women in there, or money, or video games, or gambling, or sex, or food, or what the fuck ever, dude. Whatever can fit in there to make this stop just for a little bit. And dope did that really well for a while. So I moved out, man, and this was this time in my life that I was just talking about where like I was trying to be this dude, but I was the shady motherfucker over here, and my sponsor was Rocco at the time. I missed the fuck out of that dude, man. So I got called out on all my shit, man. I was sitting at the end of my road in Fairmont, man, in my Jeep, and I had a couple $1,000s in my pocket, and I had 6 years clean, and I was on my way to Philly to go get fucking high. Because I was fucking done with NA. I hated every fucking one of you, man. I'd been embarrassed because I did it all myself, man, but I blamed all you guys for that shit. And I called Rocco at 3 in the morning. He answered the fucking phone. And we talked till 7 in the morning, man, till I had to be at work. He said, just go to work, Chris. He said, call me at your 10 o'clock break and at lunch and at 2, man. And I called him and we talked all fucking night long until I got to work, man. And I'm here today because of that guy, man. And like I said, I missed the fuck out of him, man. I sat on his couch and shared one of the most deepest, brutally honest fifth steps I've ever shared in my life, man. And that's part of that action of this program we talk about, man. But I have my sponsor now is Wes. He's back there in the back. He likes to hang out with the bad kids. And I work steps with him, man. And it's about working fucking steps, man. Like, I can sit up here and sound real fucking cool, man, and quote shit out of the basic text and tell you about fucking traditions and all that stuff, man, but it's about action today, man. I've been a con my whole life, man, so it's about what I do. And, like, the coolest part of this stuff, man, it's not standing up here doing this, man. It's like when I'm at work, man, and something happens and I have to practice these principles and none of you guys get to see that shit, dude. It's like I get those goosebumps, man, you know what I mean? When somebody leaves my office, like, dude, you just practice the third step on some dude, man, you know what I mean? And I don't even need to come to the meeting and tell you guys about that, man. Like, that's my personal shit. Like, that's the shit that, like, the shit fucking works, man. So I used to be that guy, and I'm this guy today, man, and like I owe that to you guys, man. But it's through working steps. And traditions. By the way, we have 12 traditions. I know everybody likes to talk about steps. I do service. I go to fucking meetings, man. I read our literature and I pray no matter what. I don't fucking pick up, man. That shit worked on day one and it works now too, man. You know, the steps, man, in Fairmont, where I come from, man, like when I first got there wasn't a lot of people that worked like past step 3. It was like 1, 2, 3 shuffle, you know what I mean? And everybody was scared of the 4th step, man, and the 5th step. And I was before I got there, I was like, oh my God, dude, I can never write this shit down on a piece of paper and then share it with another human being. Since then, I've worked the steps a couple of times, man. I'd love to go back and do another 4th and 5th step because currently I hate the fucking 9th step. And that's where I had to make those direct amends, man. And I'm not real happy with the 10th step either, by the way. Because that shit shows my on a daily basis what I'm doing, man. It shows those behaviors, man. And like, my first 9th step, dude, it was real easy. It was like, so all that shit on there, I was a dope fiend. I did some really bad, terrible shit in fucking life, man. And I owe some amends to some people. The ninth step I did in recovery, man, was fucking brutal, dude. It fucking broke me down because I didn't have that dope fiend excuse anymore, man. I was just a bad fucking dude who did a bunch of shady shit in recovery, man. I couldn't blame it on being fucking high anymore. I was just fucking bad, man. You know, I wasn't living this program. I was just fucking talking it, man. And it almost took me back out, man. But like, here's the cool part is I had some people in my life who called me out on it, man, who loved me enough to say, Chris, you're fucking up, man. And I'm standing here today because of that love, man. And that's the love the people in that first meeting showed me, too, that knew I was high, by the way. Today I sponsor people, man. And they're all sitting up here, man. They tried to get me all fired up here earlier, man, and nervous. And we were standing outside, and they were like, my God, look at all those people, man. And, they were a great help today, man. But, you know, the cool thing about sponsorship, man, and like, I don't know, Rocco used to tell me this all the time too, man. It's like when I didn't call him, he got mad with me, man. And it wasn't because he wanted to know what I was doing. It was because he explained to me that sponsorship was a two-way street, man, and that I kept him clean just as much as he kept me clean, man. So if you haven't called your sponsor today, fucking call him, man. If you don't have a sponsor, go get one, man. I never give advice in meetings, man. The only advice I have ever given inside of a Narcotics Anonymous meeting is get a sponsor. The rest of the shit will work itself out, man. The sponsor is a guide to the 12 steps. If anybody in this room doesn't know, I'm sure there are a bunch of people here that'll explain it to you, man. But get one. You know, and the sponsorship thing, man, was probably the first honest relationship I ever had with another human being in my entire fucking life, man. Probably even before myself, man. And my first sponsor was Mike H., man. He was a hell of a fucking guy. He was an old school NA dude, man. And I lied to him all the time, man. I lied to Rocco. Fuck, I lied to Wes sometimes too, man. You know, you know, because I don't want to be embarrassed, man. They asked me how my step work is going. Oh, it's going, dude, it's going great. I was writing last night, and you know, I got like 7 pages done. Dude, don't even have a fucking notebook, man. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you why I do that, man. Because I'm full of fucking self and ego, man. Because I think that number in front of my clean time really means a whole lot of shit. And that I've reached some level of recovery where I don't have to fucking do anything anymore. And it's probably the exact opposite. I need to be doing more now, man. Because the longer I stay clean, the more I've realized, the more jacked up I fucking am, man. You know, it's like the denial, the first couple of years of recovery was fucking awesome, and I want to go back there, man. You know, step 6 and 7 took a lot of that away, man. Let me see my behaviors on a daily basis. Now they're making my life unmanageable. And step 10 like continues to do that, man. But sponsorship is vital, man, to this program, man. You know, I get into little levels of recovery where I don't want to call my fucking sponsor, or I want to self-sponsor. And by the way, the self-sponsor thing happened right before that trip to Philadelphia that I almost took. I thought I could sponsor myself because I had 6 years clean, man. Here's what I know today, man. I do not have to pick up dope to deal with anything. You guys have shown me that, man. I've sat in meetings and listened to people talk about losing children, husbands, wives, fathers to this disease and other diseases, man, and they stayed fucking clean, no matter what, man. And like that shit boggles my mind, man. Like I'm so proud of the people in these fucking rooms, man. Everybody in here, because like I know a lot of you, man. And I know what you've been through, man. And like you guys give me that fucking hope. Like you can't buy that shit at Walmart, man. You can't. You guys have given that to me, man. You've given me faith and courage and everything else, man. You know I was talking to Rodney today on his first step, man, and we were talking about that. Some other things, man, about that faith and courage. And, you know, like one of the things I got really fucked up in Narcotics Anonymous for a long time is I thought I had to be absolutely without fear. And I was brought up that way, by the way, too, man. My dad's ex-Green Beret, drill sergeant, all that shit, man. So I didn't think I could ever have any fear in my life. But here's what I've learned in these meetings, man, and from you guys and watching you go through shit. Like fear is okay, man, but walking through it is, you know, courage is born of that, man, and faith. And you guys taught me that, man. And like, listen, man, like I rely on that shit the day I did day 2 clean as I do fucking today, man. Like I haven't reached a point where it's like, I don't need any courage or faith today, man. Like I need it more now today than I've ever fucking needed it, man. because I still get twisted, man. I still get fucking jacked up, and I don't want to tell people things, and I want to live in my fucking head, man. And that's when bad shit fucking happens, man. Listen, I can guarantee you a couple things, man. There are people in these rooms that know what's going on with Chris at all fucking times, man. It may not be my sponsor, it may be other people or sponsees, but somebody knows what I'm doing, man, because when I'm not honest about what's going on, I'm that shady motherfucker that was standing over there again, man. I know what that dude does. That guy gets high every fucking time, man. I've relapsed so many times in this program, man, and I need to point out there are people in these rooms that have came in and never went back out, man, because they listened. I didn't, man. I'm stubborn and I'm a fucking fighter, man. And I argue with fucking everything, man. But when I got here, I was so fucking broken, man. There was nowhere else in this world left to go. Everybody had given up on me. I'd given up on myself. There are many times in recovery, man, where I welcomed fucking death. Like I wanted to fucking die, man, because I couldn't keep fucking going on anymore, man. I couldn't get fucking clean and I couldn't fucking keep using. The last day that I used, I was sitting in a bed in Florida in a hotel, and I put a gun in my mouth, and I was too chicken shit to pull the fucking trigger, man. But I had reached that point in time. I was utterly 100% fucking broken inside, man. And that's what this disease does to us, man. So like, as I sit here with some clean time, man, I need to remember that when I see the newcomer walking in the meeting, man, they're fucking broken. And I don't need to beat them down, man. If they don't know the language of our program and they don't know the fucking traditions and they say the S word by accident because they've never been in an NA meeting before, I need to hug them. And I need to go talk to them and give them my number, man. And trust me, I'm all about some fucking traditions, man. If my sponsees do that shit, I mean, I'm all about it, man. But people don't know that shit. I wasn't born with an innate knowledge of Narcotics Anonymous, man. I had to learn it from you guys, man. It's like, so I need to be patient with other people, man. And that's another one of my little pet peeves, man. But I'll get off that soapbox for a minute. I wanted to share this story, man, and it kind of has to do with my wife, and I like embarrassing her. But in year 2000, I was arrested for like 36 felonies or some shit, man, whatever. I mean, he was counting after that, right? And I'm sitting in the county jail. It's back when they had county jails. And I'm rehearsing this fucking speech, man. And let me tell you, man, I had like 7 months before my fucking date to rehearse it. And it was fucking good, man. You guys would have cried had you been in the courtroom, man. And I was trying to play the dope fiend card and go back to rehab, man, because I played that my whole life, right? Dope fiend send me to rehab, 30 days, go out and get high. I've done that so many times, man. So I stand up in this courtroom, man, and I deliver my speech, man. About 20 minutes into it, I spoke for 20 minutes, man. The judge tells me, "That's very nice, Mr. Batani, sit down." That's my last name, by the way. But I know most of you, and I'm on social media, so what the fuck ever. So he tells me to sit down, and he tells me that if he could award me an Emmy at this time, he would give me one. But he was going to grant my request to go to rehab. He was going to send me to the state's finest rehab. Dude, and inside I'm like fucking dancing. I'm like, yeah, man. Find a girl there, right? Probably marry her again. At least and then get high when I get out, because that was my plan. And he sentenced me to Mount Olive Penitentiary for 3 years. And I was like, fuck. And then the real tears came, by the way, because the ones before were totally fucking fake, man. And I was scared to fucking death, man. And I went to prison. I thrived in that environment, by the way, because I'm a fucking chameleon, man. I blend in anywhere, man. You can put me down here or over there, and I get along with everybody. But the reason I tell you that story, man, is because years later, I had to ask that judge to marry his daughter. Yeah. It's a small world, right? Yeah. But so let me tell you, man. When I went over to talk to him, like I was nervous coming up here. Fuck, dude. Talking to him was like, I thought I was going to stroke out at one point in time, man. So I go over and talk to him, and I'm like, because I don't know if he remembers from sentencing me to prison, man. And like I've got a huge rap sheet behind that anyway. And I want to be honest with the dude because I'm supposed to be a stand-up guy today, right? And I want to tell him about it before he finds out from one of his cop buddies or judge buddies or some shit like that, right? So I go over and talk to him, man. And before I can say anything, man, he tells me he already knows. He tells me just to take care of his daughter and my son, man. And that was like the coolest thing ever, dude. So here's this dude that sends me to a fucking penitentiary. And that guy loves me today, man. And I love that guy, actually, man. Like, him and I have had some awesome conversations, man. And like, dude, that's like, I still think that's the coolest story of my whole life, man. But the, so like today, man, like I have a family, man. So like I try to find this balance in my life between meetings, service, my family, and work. And like I used to think there was like some place, a magical fucking thing I would find, man, where like I could find that balance. And here's what I figured out: it just doesn't fucking exist, man. There's no perfect balance, man. Like that's just life. There's ups and downs, man. And like, it used to be I would swing all the way to this side and all the way to that side, man. Like today, like I have a little space I can stay in, man. It's not as dramatic to the left and dramatic to the right, man. And like I just get done what I can do on a daily basis, man. And like so I've been clean for a little while, man. And like one of the traps I fall in, man, and as I overwhelm myself with all kinds of shit. I want stuff, man. I want to start doing this. I want to start doing this. Meeting attendance starts slacking off, man. Like I've been down this road before, man. I cannot do that, man. Recovery has to fucking come first, man. And here's the thing, man. Recovery comes before my son, my wife, my job, everything else. Recovery is my fucking life. It's got to be my priority. If something else is my priority, I'm done. I've done it, man. Trust me. I've tried every fucking other way, man. Recovery has to be my priority, man, or I will go back out, man. And I have a choice today, dude. And like that's still the gift of choice, man. It talks about in our 10th step twice in that step in the basic text, man. And that gift of choice is still one of the most awesome choices in the fucking world to me, man. Because I'm not plagued by obsession and compulsion today, man. I get to choose, man. I've never fucking had that before, man. I've always been driven by something. Or I knew chow time was at 11:30 at fucking Huttonsville. My life has been controlled, man. Like today it's not, man. I am fucking free, man. And it's because of the steps and traditions that I am free, man. So I have that choice. So like when I go to work in the morning, if I want to be an asshole, I can. And you can ask Jason about that. He works with me. I try to practice those principles. But like, I have a choice whether I want to go to the meeting. I have a choice whether I want to do H&I. Like that freedom of choice, man. Never take that shit for granted because I did that shit, man, with almost 4 years clean and I got high. That choice is fucking awesome, man. I do not have to use dope today. We do not have to fucking use dope today, man. I think that's probably about all I got, man. So I want to thank everybody for asking me to do this, man. Like, this is a really super fucking honor, man. And like, there's a lot of goddamn people in here, man. But thank you.